My girlfriend stole $5 from our joint account. I reported nothing, just waited. She spent it on her affair partner. He left when money ran out. Bank fraud charges came when I finally filed the FIR. Hey, Reddit. I know about the money, I said, watching her freeze mid-step in our living room doorway. The shopping bag slipped from her fingers. Designer labels I'd never seen her buy before scattered across the hardwood floor. Her face went white, then red, then white again. What money? She whispered. I held up my phone, showing her the bank notification. Transfer complete. $46,829. The fifth withdrawal in 3 weeks. Our joint savings account, the one we'd been building for 2 years, now sat at $3,247. She could lose everything. I could lose everything. But only one of us knew what was really about to happen. I'm 31. We'd been together for 4 years, living together for 2. The joint account was supposed to be for our future, maybe a house, maybe a wedding, maybe just security. We both contributed equally every month. Or at least, I thought we did. The first withdrawal happened 3 weeks ago. $8,500. I saw it that morning while checking our balance before work. My first thought was fraud. My second thought was to call her. But something stopped me. Maybe it was the way she'd been staying late at work for the past month. Maybe it was how she'd started password protecting her phone after 3 years of leaving it unlocked. Maybe it was the new perfume I didn't buy her, or the lingerie I'd never seen her wear for me. So I didn't call. I just watched. The second withdrawal came 4 days later. $12,300. Then $9,800. Then $15,400. Each time, I got the notification. Each time, I saved it. Each time, I said nothing. I started documenting everything. Screenshots with timestamps. Bank statements downloaded and stored in 3 separate cloud accounts. I even set up transaction alerts to forward to a separate email address she didn't know about. And I waited. It's not what you think, she said now, her voice shaky. I sat down on the couch, calm. Too calm. The kind of calm that comes from knowing exactly what's happening while the other person thinks you're still in the dark. Then tell me what it is. She picked up the bags, avoiding eye contact. I needed some things. For work. You know how important appearances are in my industry. I worked in finance. I knew exactly how much her work clothes should cost. The bags on our floor? That wasn't work clothes money. That was something else entirely. $47,000 worth of things. Her hands trembled. I was going to tell you. I got a bonus, and I wanted to surprise you, and you got a bonus, so you withdrew from our joint account instead of depositing to it. The lie died on her lips. She set the bags down again, slower this time, and I saw it. The moment she decided to shift strategies. Okay, fine. You want the truth? I needed the money for something personal. Something I didn't want to explain because I knew you'd overreact. Try me. She sat across from me, and I noticed details I've been cataloging for weeks. The new manicure. The expensive highlights. The subtle weight loss that came from someone who suddenly cared about their appearance for a reason that wasn't me. My sister's in trouble. Legal trouble. She needed bail money and then lawyer fees, and you know how you feel about her. So I didn't want to. Your sister's been in Australia for 6 months. I saw her Instagram post from Sydney Opera House yesterday. The color drained from her face again. I pulled out my tablet, opened a folder I'd prepared. Want to try again, or should I show you what I've found? Her breathing changed. Faster. Shallower. Fight or flight kicking in. You've been spying on me. You've been stealing from me. From us. $50,000 over 3 weeks, and you want to talk about privacy? She stood up abruptly. I don't have to explain myself to you. It's a joint account. Joint means both of us have access. Joint also means joint decisions on large withdrawals. That was the agreement. Anything over $1,000, we discuss. Remember? She did. I saw it in her eyes. The agreement we'd made when we opened the account, typed out and signed by both of us, sitting in our filing cabinet under important documents. Things change, she said. People's needs change. Whose needs? Yours or someone else's? Her jaw clenched. Direct hit. I'd known for 2 weeks. Not suspected, known. His name was David. 28. Worked in marketing at some startup that was probably going to crash and burn in 6 months. They'd met at a networking event 2 months ago. I found the Facebook messages she'd forgotten to delete from her laptop. The one she left open while showering last week. The messages were explicit. Not just emotionally, but financially. He'd been asking for money. A temporary loan for his business. An investment opportunity. Help with rent because his roommate bailed. Every excuse in the book, and she'd fallen for every single one. Or maybe she just wanted a reason to say yes. "There's no one else," she said, but her voice lacked conviction. I opened a file on my tablet. Screenshots, dates, times, message previews. I didn't show her yet, just held it where she could see something was there. "Last chance to tell me the truth before I show you what I already know." She stared at the screen, then at me, then back at the screen. Her phone buzzed in her purse. Once, twice, 3 times. She didn't reach for it. "It's complicated," she finally said. "Uncomplicated." She sank back onto the chair, hands covering her face. When she spoke, her voice was muffled. "I met someone. We connected. He needed help and I wanted to help him. With our money. With my access to money. Money I contributed to. You contributed $18,000 over 2 years. You've withdrawn $50,000 in 3 weeks. That's not your money. That's our money. That's my money." Her hands dropped. "So what, you own me? You own everything I do. I own half of a joint account that you've been draining without permission. There's a difference. What are you going to do about it?" The defiance in her voice was new. Or maybe it had always been there, just hidden under a prettier surface. "I'm going to give you a choice." She waited. "You can come clean right now. Tell me everything. Where the money went, who this person is, what the plan was. And then we figure out next steps together. How to recover it, how to handle this, what happens to us. Or I file a police report for unauthorized withdrawal and possible fraud. Because while you had access to the account, you violated our written agreement. And in this country, that agreement is legally binding." Her eyes went wide. "You wouldn't." I said nothing. Just looked at her with the same expression I used in client meetings when someone tried to bluff me with bad numbers. She believed it because it was true. "He said he loved me," she whispered. "He said once his business took off, we'd be set. He just needed capital to get started. And you gave him $50,000 of capital that wasn't yours to give. I was going to pay it back. Once his business." "There is no business." I looked him up. David Chun, 28, graduated from a mid-tier school with a marketing degree, been through 4 jobs in 3 years, currently working part-time at a company with 6 employees and no funding. He's not an entrepreneur. He's a con artist, and you're his mark. Her face crumpled. "You don't know him. I know his type. I see them every week trying to pitch investors. Big dreams, no execution, always looking for someone else's money to burn through. The only question is whether he's deliberately scamming you or just delusional enough to believe his own pitch. He's not. Have you met any of his business partners? Seen a business plan? Checked his company registration? Anything?" Silence. "You gave $50,000 to someone based on promises and feelings. In my world, we call that a donation, not an investment." She was crying now. Real tears, the kind that ruin makeup. "I love him." There it was. The admission I'd been waiting for, even though I already knew. "Then leave," I said simply. "Pack your things, take whatever's yours, and go be with him. See how long love lasts when there's no more money to take." It's not like that. It's exactly like that. You think you're the first person to fall for someone who saw them as an ATM? You think this is some grand romance? He's using you, and you're letting him because it feels good to be wanted for something, even if that something is just your bank account access. She stood up, angry now. "You don't understand anything. You've never understood me. You're cold. You're calculating. You treat everything like a transaction. I treat joint financial agreements like agreements. Apparently, that makes me the villain. He listens to me. He cares about my dreams, my goals. He cares about your direct deposit. The moment the money stops, watch how fast he stops listening. You're wrong." I closed my tablet. "Prove it. Stop giving him money. See if he sticks around." Her phone buzzed again. For messages now unanswered. We both looked at her purse. "That him?" I asked. She didn't answer. "Go ahead. Check it. See what he wants." She grabbed her purse, pulled out her phone. Her face went through several expressions as she read: confusion, hurt, anger. "What's wrong?" I asked, though I had a good guess. "He's asking if the transfer went through yet. He says he needs another $20,000 by Friday for some time-sensitive opportunity. And you were planning to give it to him." She didn't deny it. "With what money? The account's almost empty. You already drained it." I was going to. "I have a credit card." Jesus. It was worse than I thought. "How much credit card debt have you racked up for him?" "It's not for him. It's for us." "How much?" $15,000. My turn to feel the blood drain. $15,000 in credit card debt in 3 weeks. He needed. I don't care what he needed. You destroyed our savings and buried yourself in high-interest debt for someone you've known for 2 months. 3 months. Oh, well, that changes everything. 3 whole months. Basically married. The sarcasm was unprofessional. I didn't care. She threw her phone on the couch. What do you want from me? You want me to say I'm sorry? Fine. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I'll pay it all back. How? You make $42,000 a year, 15 of which is now going to credit card payments. You've got rent, car payment, insurance, food. Where exactly is the extra 50 grand plus interest going to come from? I'll figure it out. No, we'll figure it out. After you tell me everything, we contact the bank, we report the unauthorized transfers, we see what can be recovered, and then we decide if this relationship is salvageable or if we're just roommates splitting assets. You can't report me. We're together. We're together until we're not. And right now, I'm about 65,000 reasons away from seeing a future here. She picked up her phone again, typed something fast. His response came immediately. I watched her face fall further. What did he say? He says if I can't help him, he understands. But he thought we were partners. Partners don't bleed each other dry. She read something else, and her hands started shaking. He says maybe we should take a break. Until I sort out my financial situation. And there it was. Faster than I expected, honestly. One message, I said quietly. One message where you can't immediately hand over money, and suddenly you need a break. You see it now. She saw it. I watched the realization break across her face like glass shattering in slow motion. He used me, she whispered. Yes. The whole time. Probably. And you knew? I suspected. Then I confirmed. Then I waited to see if you'd figure it out on your own, or if you'd keep destroying our life for someone who saw you as a resource. She looked at me with something between hatred and devastation. You just watch me do this. You let me make a fool of myself. I gave you chances to come clean. You chose lies every time. You manipulated me. I documented theft. There's a difference. Her phone buzzed again. She looked at it, then threw it across the room. It hit the wall and clattered to the floor, screen cracked. I need to think, she said. I need space. Take all the space you need. But before you go, we're calling the bank together and reporting this. Today, I'm not doing that. Then I'm doing it alone, and you become a co-conspirator in bank fraud instead of a victim. Your choice. You'd really do that? You'd really send me to jail? I stood up, walked to the window. Outside, life continued normally. People walking dogs, kids playing, the world spinning like nothing was falling apart in our apartment. I'd really protect myself, I said without turning around. You made your choices. I'm making mine. The question is whether we make the next ones together or separately. I heard her breathing behind me. Ragged, uneven. If I help you report this, she said slowly, what happens to us? I don't know yet. We'd need counseling. Financial counseling, relationship counseling, probably individual therapy. We need to rebuild trust that's completely shattered. We need to figure out if you actually want to be here or if you stayed for security while looking for something else. And if I don't help, then you're on your own with the credit card debt. The bank investigates the withdrawals without your cooperation, and depending on what they find, you could face charges. Plus, we're done. Immediately. Those aren't real choices. They're the only ones available. You burned the other options when you stole $50,000. She picked up her cracked phone from where it had fallen. The screen still worked, barely. More messages from David. She didn't open them. He's asking where I am, she said hollowly. Says he's worried. He's worried his cash flow stopped. She nodded slowly, like she was waking up from something. I really believed he loved me. Maybe he thought he did. Maybe he's so delusional he believed his own story. Doesn't change the math. She sat back down, phone in her lap, staring at nothing. What do I tell him? That's up to you. But if you tell him anything about the bank report or potential police involvement, you're tipping off someone who defrauded you. Something to consider. He didn't defraud me. I gave him the money. You gave him stolen money. Money you had access to, but not permission to distribute. That makes him party to the theft if he knew it wasn't yours to give. I never told him it was joint. Interesting. Self-preservation kicking in. So he thinks you're independently wealthy? I may have exaggerated my financial situation. Why? She looked at me like I was stupid. Because he's young and ambitious, and I'm 30 and working a dead-end job. I needed to be someone impressive. There it was. The real reason. Not love, not connection, insecurity. She'd bought someone's attention with money she didn't have because she didn't think she was enough without it. Almost sad. Almost. Call the bank, I said. Now? or I do it without you in 5 minutes. She looked at her phone, at the messages still coming through from David. Then she looked at me. If I do this, we try to make it work? You don't just leave? I don't promise anything except that we figure out the money situation first, then deal with everything else. But if you don't do it, there's no we to save. She picked up her phone, started to dial. Stopped. He's going to hate me. He's going to disappear. There's a difference. And you'll survive it. She dialed. I listened as she reported the unauthorized transfers. Explained the situation. Answer questions. The bank representative put her on hold to check the account activity. While we waited, I said, after this call, you're blocking him on everything. Phone, social media, email, all of it. What if he? There is no what if. You're a liability to him now. He's gone the moment he realizes there's no more money and potential legal exposure. Save yourself the pain of watching him ghost you. The representative came back. Fraud investigation opened. Temporary freeze on the account. Police report recommended. Paperwork to follow. She hung up. They're investigating, she said numbly. They said it could take weeks. It will. Might get some of it back, might not. Depends on what he spent it on and whether there's anything to recover. He'll know something's wrong when his transfers stop going through. Good. Let him wonder. She looked at her phone again. Messages still coming. Increasingly urgent. Babe, where are you? Is everything okay? Did the transfer go through? I really need to hear from you. Block him, I said. Her finger hovered over his name. 3 months of messages. Photos. Voice notes. Late-night conversations. Digital evidence of a relationship that was never real. She blocked him. Then she started crying. Really crying. The kind of crying that comes from losing something and realizing it was never yours to begin with. I didn't comfort her. Didn't move from where I stood. This wasn't the time for comfort. This was the time for consequences to land. What happens now? She asked between sobs. Now? We wait for the investigation. You make minimum payments on that credit card debt and hope the bank recovers something. We figure out living arrangements, whether you stay or go. We decide if there's anything worth salvaging. Do you want me to stay? Honest question. Deserved an honest answer. I don't know, I said. Part of me wants to tell you to pack your stuff and be gone by tonight. Part of me remembers 4 years together and wonders if this is fixable. Part of me is just tired. I'm sorry, she whispered. I know that doesn't fix anything, but I'm sorry. Sorry you did it, or sorry you got caught. She flinched. Both. I don't know. Does it matter? Yeah, it matters. My phone buzzed. Bank notification. Account frozen pending investigation. Another notification. Email from the fraud department requesting my statement of events. I need to write my version of what happened, I said. You should probably do the same. Separately. Be honest, because they'll check everything. Are you going to tell them about us? I'm going to tell them about unauthorized account access and violation of a written agreement. What that means for US is a separate issue. She nodded, wiped her eyes with her sleeve. Mascara streaked her cheeks. She looked younger suddenly. Vulnerable. Nothing like the confident woman I'd met 4 years ago. I really did love you, she said. I still do. I don't know what happened. He made me feel something different, and I chased it without thinking. You thought enough to hide it. You thought enough to lie. You thought enough to systematically drain our account over 3 weeks. That takes planning, not impulse. I know. So don't pretend this was some accident. You made choices. Multiple choices. Every withdrawal, every lie, every time you chose him over us. Those were decisions. She stood up slowly, gathering the shopping bags she'd dropped. Designer labels that probably wouldn't fit right because they were bought with guilt and theft instead of joy. I'll sleep in the guest room, she said quietly, until we figure things out. Good. She walked toward the bedroom, stopped at the door. Are you going to press charges? Personal charges, I mean. Not just the bank stuff. Depends on what the investigation finds. And what you do next. What do you want me to do? I want you to tell the truth. All of it. To the bank, to the investigators if it comes to that, to yourself. And then I want you to figure out who you actually are when you're not performing for someone. She nodded and disappeared into the bedroom. I sat alone in the living room, looking at the shopping bags she'd left behind. $50,000. 2 years of saving. One joint account that was supposed to be about building something together. My phone buzzed again. Another email from the bank. Forms to fill out. Statements to provide. Evidence to gather. I pulled out my laptop and started writing. Date of account opening. Agreement terms. First suspicious withdrawal. Documentation I'd collected. Timeline of deception. Clinical, factual, emotionless. Somewhere in the apartment, I heard her crying. Muffled sobs through the guest room door. I kept typing. 3 hours later, I submitted my statement. Attached the screenshots, the bank records, the signed agreement from our filing cabinet. Everything documented, organized, irrefutable. The bank responded within 20 minutes. Investigation escalated. Police reports strongly recommended. Potential criminal charges depending on findings. I forwarded the email to her. She responded from the guest room. Okay. Just that. Nothing else. The next morning, she was gone. Not permanently. Her clothes were still in the closet, her toiletries in the bathroom. But she'd left early, before I woke up. A note on the kitchen counter. Staying with a friend. Need to think. We'll be back for my things soon. I crumpled the note and threw it away. 2 weeks passed. The bank investigation continued. They'd frozen several of David's accounts based on the transfer trails. Recovered about $18,000 so far. The rest was spent. Rent, car payments, clothes, restaurants, who knows what else. She came back once, with her friend waiting in the car. Packed 3 suitcases. Couldn't look at me. The bank recovered some of it, I said as she packed. I know. They contacted me. You'll need to repay your share of what's lost. I know. And the credit card debt is yours alone. I know. She zipped the last suitcase. David blocked me, she said without looking up. The day after I blocked him, he found a way to contact me. Called me crazy. Said I was harassing him. Then blocked me everywhere. Told you he'd disappear. You were right. About everything. He was using me. I was stupid. I destroyed us for nothing. Not for nothing. For $50,000 and a fantasy. She flinched, but didn't argue. The bank might press charges, I said. Against both of you. Depends on what the investigation concludes. Will you press charges? Personal ones. I thought about it. Every day for 2 weeks. The anger had faded into something colder. Not forgiveness, but not rage either. Just calculation. I'll let the system handle it, I said finally. If they determine you committed fraud, that's on you. But I'm not going out of my way to destroy you more than you've destroyed yourself. She nodded. Thank you. Don't thank me. I'm not being kind. I'm being practical. Pressing charges would tie me up in legal proceedings for months. I'd rather move on. Are we? She started, then stopped. Never mind. Are we what? Are we officially over? I looked at her. Really looked. Saw the person I'd planned a future with, now standing in our apartment packing to leave because she'd chosen someone else and their shared delusion over reality. Yeah, I said. We're over. Have been since the first withdrawal. This is just paperwork now. She left without another word. Her friend helped carry the suitcases. Neither of them looked at me. I changed the locks that afternoon. For weeks after the initial confrontation, the bank investigation concluded. Final recovery, $23,000. The rest was gone, spent faster than it was stolen. David's accounts were empty. He'd burned through everything, then disappeared, literally. Moved out of his apartment, quit his job, no forwarding information. The bank filed a police report. Fraud charges recommended for both of them. My ex's lawyer contacted me, asking if I'd be willing to give a statement on her behalf. Character witness. Explained that it was a crime of passion, not calculated theft. I declined. She left me a voicemail, crying, begging, saying she'd lost everything. Her relationship, her savings, her reputation, now possibly her freedom. Asking if I had any compassion left. I deleted it without responding. The preliminary hearing was scheduled for 6 weeks out. Prosecutors were considering charges: unauthorized access to financial accounts, conspiracy to commit fraud, identity-related theft for using joint account access for personal benefit. My ex took a plea deal. Restitution, probation, community service. No jail time, but a record. She'd have to repay the remaining $27,000 over 5 years. With interest. David they couldn't find. Warrant issued, but he'd vanished. Probably running the same scam in another city with another desperate woman's money. I sold the apartment. Too many memories, too much history built on what turned out to be sand. Moved across town. Smaller place, just for me. Cheaper. Easier. The joint account stayed frozen for 3 months during final legal proceedings. When it finally reopened, it held the recovered $23,000 plus my original contributions. I closed it immediately. Opened a new account. Just my name. No joint anything, ever again. She tried to contact me twice more. Once through Facebook, once through a mutual friend. Both times asking if we could talk. If there was any chance. If I could forgive. I blocked her on Facebook. Told the friend to stop passing messages. Some things don't get fixed. Some broken things stay broken. 6 months after that first confrontation, I was stable again. New apartment, new account, new routines. The anger had cooled into indifference. I didn't hate her anymore. Didn't really feel anything about her anymore. A friend asked if I regretted how I handled it. Not reporting immediately. Watching and waiting instead of confronting. I said no. Because if I'd confronted her after the first withdrawal, she would have lied. Would have cried. Would have promised to fix it. And I might have believed her. Might have given her another chance. Might have watched her do it again, more carefully this time. By waiting, by documenting, by letting her think she was getting away with it. I'd let her reveal exactly who she was when she thought no one was watching. And that truth, as devastating as it was, had been worth knowing. Sometimes the best revenge isn't immediate. Sometimes it's just being patient enough to watch someone destroy themselves while you stand clear of the blast radius. My phone buzzed. Bank notification. Direct deposit from my paycheck. Building the account back up. 1 month at a time. Alone but honest. Solvent but single. I could live with that. The alternative, staying with someone who'd steal from me, lie to me, betray me for a fantasy, that would have been the real loss. So I didn't lose anything, really. I just finally saw what was already gone.